I have been invited to speak on so many podcasts recently, and on all of those podcast episodes, something that came back a lot of the time is my story and how I am empowering women now because of the stories with the women that I had in my past, how I grew up, and all of this. And I want to share here today a little bit more about my story and how it probably relates to yours and what has happened and what are the beliefs and the things that I really had to drop on the way to build 3 multi-six-figure businesses now. Really, the first thing that I want you to understand is where this comes from, but also like how this shows up right now in my business, in my life. And my business is an extension of me. My business is not me. My business is not my baby. But everything that I'm becoming is also being transferred into my business. So something that I am very passionate about, and it has been actually years for me to put this into words, is that my main driving force is for women to be independent, for women to have choices, and for women to make decisions and not to be the one kind of like taking that they don't have the choice. They have to like make the things for everyone to like adapt around. And so one of the things that I have noticed a lot is that I want women to be independent, not just like freedom, but independence is like so high in my value ladder. And I'm going to give you an example that might actually shock you in like how high this is. So the house I'm in right now is the house I built on my yoga teacher salary in 2017. I was teaching yoga and everyone was just like, you can never make any money teaching yoga. And I'm always like, well, look at me. I'm going to do what I want, the way I want it, and I'm going to have what I want. And that's exactly what I did. And so I've built this house, and without, I didn't have any savings, no parents' money. I didn't have my husband at this time. We actually get married a year after. And we met as I was designing this house. So, well, got together. But here, like really what happened and what I want to say about this house is that now I'm building another one. And all my investments, all of my real estates are mine and are not something that I share with my husband. Of course, we talk about it, but I mean, what is his, and what is mine is mine. And for so many people that I have seen around, they're like, wow, like this is a bit crazy. And I'm not saying that it is something that can be easily accepted depending on where we come from. But for me, it is so important that I have this independence. And for me, it gives me a lot of safety. Know that I don't have trust in him, but I know that life evolves, we change, like I trust the version of him today, but I love my independence. And that has been like so strong for me because I have seen for so many women in my world not having this and how I grew up. And so I wanted to share this with you because I know that it might seem sometimes a little bit crazy to have everything separated. Maybe in your own environment, it's actually very normalized. And that's why like it's so interesting to see how things can be so normalized or things can be like so put as like this is weird depending on the environment that you are in. This has been for me and so a carrying force in my business and in my work in making every single woman who is coming in my world, who is working with me, to make her feel empowered. And every single woman who worked with me is feeling the most empowered version of themselves because I have this ability to mirror someone, a woman, power back, and for her to realize like how much possibility she has, how much choices, and that she is the one actually driving decisions in her business, decisions in her life on how she wants to be living. And so this actually, when I was looking at it and like, why am I so passionate about it? Because yes, I love, for example, helping you build funnels. I love for you to help you make 100K launch strategies. So you launch, you make 100K. I love to help women make their first 5K. Like, it doesn't matter so much. Like, but why I do all of this is to help women feel empowered and feel strong. I'm also a yoga teacher trainer. Yeah. Even now, like it's one of my 3 businesses. And I haven't found yet a leader that I feel can replace me in this business. So I am still teaching some of the teacher trainings and co-leading them. So I'm the leader, and I have one or two teachers that help me. But like what I wanted to say in this is that even when I teach teacher trainings, the women in my world are like, I feel so empowered by learning how to teach from you, because it is not just one thing that I'm doing when I teach funnels. This is something that I'm doing in my entire life for all of my friends when I teach yoga. If you take a yoga class with me, you're going to feel so empowered. All of my language is very empowering because I want especially women to see how much power, capability, and possibilities they have. This is so important to me. And one of the things that I have noticed is that when I grew up, so my parents are, I would not say middle class, more low class income, like very basic salary income, and still have now. So we grew up in a ghetto. We have to call it what it is. And it was like we could not go out at night or like stuff around the apartment, like living in a building with like so many other people. Like I'm sure you get the image. And money was always a problem. Yeah. So we never have money. Money is always a problem. Everything my parents were buying is always on a loan. Like you wanted, if they wanted a TV, the TV has to be on a loan. If they wanted something, it is on a loan. And yeah, there was no spare money. We were never going on holidays. Like it's not, oh yeah, let's go. I never traveled internationally until I was an adult, and I go to your grandma for a month, like, or something like this in the summer, and spend time with my 20 cousins in her caravan. That was the summer. And so I feel like growing up like this and with this idea of like money is very hard to get. Money doesn't grow on trees, my parents saying this. Or like, look at this asshole with this bright new car, because people who have money or brand new cars are assholes, And like having all of this discussion and the conversation and really just like having, like you're such a sponge as a child. And so for me, that's how I grew up. That's how I thought it was, for everyone. I didn't actually imagine people being other way. And like me growing up into this, I also did not value money, for sure. Like I did not see the point of having money. Having money makes you an asshole anyway. Or people who have money must do something dodgy. And I was actually always proud to be so resourceful. Look at everything I can do without any money. I left my parents' apartment when I was 16, found a job, worked on top of going to high school, so worked every evening. I had a skateboard that I was using to go from my apartment riding to the school. I was actually going and swimming many kilometers every morning. So first from my apartment when I was 16, going to the swimming pool, swimming for an hour or two, and then going to high school, and then in the evening working until like 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m. In a restaurant bar type. And then going home. And then I did this, plus I went 1 year into medical school, psychology school. Then I did a PhD in marine archaeology. So I was an archaeologist and worked at the National Center of Research in France. So I always been so driven on like doing the things that I want to be doing, also being like the smarty pants, being recognized, speaking on stages, me like giving conferences when I was like 22 years old, as one of the youngest marine archaeologists in Europe, and definitely the youngest female one, and without caring about the money. I never cared about the money so bad. And for me, it was really like a big work to actually care of it and just like really seeing it not as something negative, not as something positive, but as seeing it as a tool, seeing it as just like something, seeing it as a currency, and really detaching myself from it. That has been such a big work in me evolving and yes, growing those 3 multi-6-figure business, because I could have not done it with the work that I have been doing before on my mindset and on evolving. And I feel something that for me has been super helpful is to go outside of my environment and I left France in 2013, so like 12 years ago now, and I'm living in Nusa Lembongan. You can Google it if you don't know where it is. It's 7 kilometer square island next to Bali in Indonesia, and I live here for 10 years now. So like when I left France and I started to meet like so many different people, I started to see like people with money that were amazing, people without money that were assholes, and seeing like that money was not a link at all. I also started to do like jobs. I remember in Australia once I worked as housekeeper, and all of my friends were like, Gwen, you're doing a PhD. Why are you working as a housekeeper in a hotel? Like, what is this? I'm like, well, guys, I'm actually making more money. I work 2 or 3 times less hours. I spend the afternoon going spearfishing, surfing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, for now, like, I prefer to do this. So I'm going to pause the PhD and the stuff. And so I saw like my life evolving so much and my relationship with money so much, and also who I was as a woman and how I was becoming by meeting so many more people. I also met a lot of people who were older than me. I saw different women because, you know, like you have your mother and your mother has a certain influence also on you, and she's your environment for like so long. And so of course a lot of her thoughts are your thoughts, her beliefs are your beliefs as a woman. And so it took me like a very long time to actually evolve and detach myself, even though like I left, I was 16 and I felt I was not the most connected with my mom. I needed to like detach myself so much to start my own way. Yeah, to start my own way. I even thought like I didn't really have a very strong and close relationship with my mom. I have a closer relationship with my mom now. And one of the things that I found beautiful is to look at so many other women and how they are connecting to their power. And what I have seen through traveling was meeting all of those women who are reflecting my power back. And for so long, I thought like I am the only one who understand me, or, you know, like I was very like self-centered until I met some amazing women who were reflecting my power back. And I was just like, is this me like that they are describing? And I found that this was so amazing. And this is a quality that since then I wanted to develop more and more and more. And so why I'm explaining you this is because my movement, what I'm building is she who decides, because I see women deciding. I see women like really leading themselves and really like stepping into this identity when they work with me of I decide this is what I want, and now I'm going to learn how I'm doing it, and I'm going to do it. I'm not complaining about it. I know it's not going to be easy, and we're just moving on. And I absolutely love the women who are working with me. And I wanted to talk about this today because I think sometimes when we look on social media, or like when you look on, let's say, my Instagram feed, or when you look at someone else, we think like we have a vision of like who they are and the depth of their work, but we don't. And my work has so much depth. Yes, I help you with funnels, but gosh, like this is not at all just what we do. Yeah. The funnels are a tool for you to decide how you're going to show up. Okay. So if we take the example of funnels, for me, this is why I help you build funnels, is so you can decide, am I going to launch this month or not? Am I going to launch this week or not? Am I going to post on social media or not? You are the one who decide. It is not forced to you because you need sales, because you need money. No, you already have money. You already make sales because you have different pathways. So when you work with me, that's exactly what we do. You start building different pathways of income. So you don't have all of your eggs in one basket. Also, same with platform. Like you're not just developing most of the time your entire business on Instagram. You probably have an established newsletter, a podcast, a YouTube channel, long form content, blog, something else than Instagram. Because if your account shut down tomorrow, then what? It's not a business. It's a social media account. So what I help my women do is this, is really like setting up into this identity of I'm the queen in my world. I am building a kingdom. I'm building an empire. I am not superior of anyone. So when I see queens, sometimes I'm just like, almost people putting them on a pedestal, you know, this is not how we do it in my world. This is not the vibe. There is no pedestal. I am not superior as any of the other geniuses that are working with me. Everyone has different genius. And so what we do in my world is create queens. And so you finally realize like that you are the one deciding. You have advisors. People are advising you. Yeah. Oh, like this is what this is a strategy you could do, or you could do this. Interesting. Let me take it through my own way. Let me take this and see how I want to lead this in my business. Let me think and ride my emotional wave if you're an emotional being like me, and see if this is really something that I want to add into my business. How do I want to do this? Building a business, building a company is not being an Instagram account. There are things behind the scene on how we need to hold ourselves, the belief that we have like around money, around who we are, around the power that we have. There's so much work to be doing. And this is why a funnel alone, for example, or an affiliate strategy or the best launch strategy is never going to be the solution to grow an amazing business that you absolutely love working in, serving clients that you absolutely adore, working the time that you want to be working that match your vision that you have at this time. Like this is only possible when you understand that you are building an empire, you are the queen of your own kingdom. No one else is doing what you are doing the way you're doing. If you are not thinking yet this, that you're not seeing yourself being that independent woman who is in charge in her business, you need to work on this. This is the work that we do inside Elevate Mastermind. Elevate Mastermind is a 6 months mastermind where we refine your offers, we refine and build your ecosystem of offers, your pathways of income. Where is your money going to come from? Not just one offer, not just one offer that you sell 3 times a year on Instagram. No, you're not going to make tons of money doing this. We are building a real company. And by building this real company, that means working on your offers, that means working on how you're going to sell them with, of course, invisible strategies. That's what I love, like affiliates and funnels and automations and upsells and recurring client strategies, but also front-facing strategies. And front-facing strategies are like launching, doing a flash sale, are being more visible, doing collaborations, and all of those things. Really building, by the way, a business that is on collaboration with others and not in competition. The more you are in competition with others, the more you're lacking, the more you're going to struggle financially, but also to establish yourself as the one in your industry. Because if you are a true leader and if you position yourself as a true leader, I can promise that you don't feel that you have any competition. No one is having your message, delivering your message the way that you are delivering it. This is also something that you all need to work more and more towards because of the rise of AI. And this is so important because the more we see the rise of AI, the more long form content is going to be needed, by the way, to actually see what are your ideas, where the thing that you say come from. This is so, so important. Instead of just writing a carousel that probably AI could have written. This is the work we do inside Elevate Mastermind. The women inside are chef kiss amazing. The drive that they have, the community spirit that they have, and the long-term vision is just insane. We are not building like a business that is going to last 3 months. I teach you how to build wealth your own way. And wealth is being built in a lot of different directions. I build wealth myself by investing. I build wealth myself by building assets online that I can reuse, that are being sold by themselves. I make so much money every single month in passive income from other businesses that I have built in the past. I teach you how to do all of this. If you have any question about working with me one-to-one or inside the Elevate Mastermind, send me a DM on Instagram. Let's have a chat and see if this is the perfect fit for you. I just can't wait to see who is coming more into this space, because every single woman who is inside becomes another leader. And every time there was a new person coming in, the energy is just bubbling, and it is so contagious. Thank you so much for listening to this, listening to my stories on like how this movement of she who decides has been built, and my story as a woman, and even talking about the relationship with my mom, with money, with me discovering like really how to mirror your power back to you. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, and for becoming the woman that you know you were always meant to be.